Cheating in online games is unfixable, and it's eating into my desire to play online games, period. And at the end of the day, why bother playing if everyone's just gonna cheat, right? Gamers are a curious bunch. They'll do just about anything to get an edge over other players. They'll look up the best strategies, the best characters, the best weapons, the best powers, basically all of that. But that's all within reason, and that's within the game itself, whether intended or not. But some gamers will learn the dark arts of cheating. What if I told you that some players had a utility, a program that would aim for you, or a program that lets you see enemies behind a wall? It sounds too good to be true, right? Well, that's what cheating is. People say that game journalists are the worst gamers in the world, but no, I would say cheaters are the worst gamers in the world. But online gaming is so full of cheaters that it basically is no longer worth playing online titles. Cheating is the main reason why we have so many invasive kernel level anti-cheats. It's a constant cat and mouse game. Cheaters cheat, anti-cheat catches them and bans them. Cheaters come back with a more sophisticated cheat. Anti-cheat catches them, and then so on and so forth. But it's escalated to the point where cheating is no longer a one computer affair. Some cheats have become so sophisticated that they require two computers. One example is PUBG. One computer to run the game and the other to run a quote-unquote radar program, basically sniffing out network packets and determining where items are on the map. An advantage that not every player has. Maybe not as egregious as aimbotting, but it's still cheating nonetheless. There's also an upcoming MSI Monitor. The monitor is AI powered and it has a function specifically for League of Legends. If an enemy shows up on the minimap for even a second, the monitor tells you exactly where they are. And yes, while this isn't nearly as egregious as something like God mode or some traditional cheat, it still is an advantage nonetheless. It's not technically a product you can buy, but given how AI can give players an advantage over other players, it doesn't seem very fair to me. And of course, on top of all of these more sophisticated cheats, there's also the simple fact that you as a player can just make a second account. Now obviously this is pretty easy with free-to-play titles. I mean, the game is free. But even with games that cost money to buy in, people do in fact buy multiple copies of a game. People used to do that for CSGO back when CSGO used to be a paid game. They would just buy keys in bulk and then save them up for when their account got banned. That's something people do. I have a hard time buying a second copy of a game, but these guys will just continuously buy copies of a game basically whenever they need to, and I find that completely ridiculous. But of course, let's not forget about the cheat makers themselves. Given the nature of these companies, I can't really find any information on their revenue. There's a good chance that they're working under the table, but I can make some educated guesses. About a year ago, Bungie, the developer of Destiny 2, they took a cheat company to court, demanding $12 million of damage. $12 million is a lot of money, and Bungie did win that court case. But from what I can see, the company is still operating and they still sell cheats for other games besides Destiny 2. And they aren't just selling cheats, they're selling them on a subscription basis, like these Modern Warfare 3 cheats. 89 euros for their most expensive plan. 30 days of cheating. A cheat that's supposed to be stream proof and anti-screenshot proof. 89 euros is like more than the price of a AAA title, even taking into account that European copies of games are more expensive. This is irrefutable proof that developing cheats is a lucrative business, which is why companies are so interested in making cheats. We talk about how pay to win sucks and how developers are bad for implementing pay to win elements. But really, cheaters are the one implementing these pay-to-win elements, but in a more literal form. And yes, it seems like a good thing that Bungie took these guys to court and actually won, and stopped these guys from developing cheats for Destiny 2. But the big issue is that Destiny 2 still has a massive cheating issue, especially in Trials of Osiris. It's an unfortunate epidemic that won't be stopped by just taking down these expensive cheat makers. And besides, these cheats are so undesirable that no one bothers cracking them and making them piratable. But of course, the main defense against cheating isn't litigation, but rather anti-cheat, and so now we have to talk about anti-cheat systems. Most anti-cheat systems nowadays are kernel level anti-cheats, like Easy Anti-Cheat or BattleEye, or even something like Valorant's own Vanguard system. The idea is that these anti-cheat systems are supposed to prevent players from cheating, prevents them from cheating as well as ban them if necessary. That's the idea anyways. The unfortunate logical fallacy here is that even if they get banned, they'll just make a new account and that won't stop them from cheating for like 2 or 3 matches. When it comes to cheaters creating brand new accounts, anti-cheat is completely useless in that regard. And yes, Valorant's own Vanguard system system does implement hardware bans, but it is quite easy to spoof hardware, rendering these hardware bans ineffective. And finally, these being kernel-level anti-cheats have vulnerabilities. Two fairly recent examples showed up. First was a ransomware that took advantage of Genshin Impact's anti-cheat system. Ransomware by itself is pretty bad, but the true holy grail of hacking is in fact remote code execution, and Apex Legends was a victim of RCE exploits. Essentially, there are reports suggesting that EAC, Easy Anti-Cheat, has a vulnerability so bad that it threatens the computers of everyone that has Apex Legends. While we haven't seen any other incidents of EAC games suffering this RCE exploit, it's recommended that you don't touch any EAC title, period, at least for the time being. And now we have to talk about Anti-Cheat's other impact: your inability to play games on Steam Deck. Anti-cheat systems hardly block out the cheaters, yet they're really good at blocking out one demographic: Linux/Steam Deck gamers. Since the Steam Deck's inception, more and more online games are becoming Steam Deck compatible. Games that for the longest time didn't support Linux now all of a sudden support Linux and Steam Deck. But there are still a good portion of games that aren't playable on Steam Deck or Linux. Destiny 2 being one such example, Rust being another example, and even Roblox? That's right, Roblox was an example of a game that worked on Linux for a time. They introduced an anti-cheat which, still worked on Linux, and then supposedly people took advantage of that and started cheating in Roblox. And now you can't play Roblox on Steam Deck or any Linux-based devices. And it seems like that's the general sentiment behind not wanting to support Linux, because cheaters will just move to Linux and start cheating there. I don't necessarily know how true this is, given you can just make a new account and play on your existing Windows PC, but it really does piss me off that cheaters did this to us. Wake up, Linux gamers. You can't play all of your favorite games with all of your friends because you're running Linux instead? Just remember that cheaters did this to you. The game devs didn't do this to you. Cheaters did this to you. Cheaters took away your ability to play some of your favorite games on your favorite operating system. And even for you Windows gamers, cheaters forced the developers' hands. They forced them to implement kernel-level anti-cheats. And most importantly, cheaters have ruined your fun. Because if you really think about it, that guy that just killed you might be a cheater. If you like this video, please press the like button and check out our other videos. And if you like those other videos as well, be sure to press the subscribe button and share the good gospel of high-tech lowlife with your friends. Furthermore, we have a community Discord for enlightened individuals such as you. And if you wish to further support high-tech lowlife, be sure to check out our Patreon page. Links in the description.